so wonderful to start the evening with wonderful drumming that's inspiring and fun to listen to, and it just lightens the heart. And we thank Kwame for always being willing to get the young men together and come to provide drumming entertainment. Again, I'm Crystal Jones. I am co-manager of the Akron Neighborhood Trust, along with my partner and co-manager, Susan Vogelsang. Together, through the Akron Neighborhood Trust, we manage Project Ujima. And just a word about the pronunciation, since if some of you know me, I'm sort of a stickler on words and all. But I've been studying a little Swahili lately, nothing fancy, just YouTube videos. But, I learned that the U sound in Swahili is pronounced U. So actually, it's not Ujima, it's Ujima. So, and actually, if I really want to be real honest, it's actually Ujima, as we've been told by Susan's daughter-in-law and son, who have, her daughter-in-law's from Kenya, and her son has spent a lot of time in Africa. So, if we can all just say, Ujima. Ujima. All right, and so I get so many people calling me, and they're saying, how do you pronounce this? What is it? And so it's Ujima. But as long as you're here, that's the important thing, so we won't get hung up on that. I really just wanted to start by thanking each of you so very much for being here. For those of you who have been with the project from the very beginning, thank you for sticking with the project and the process. We could not be where we are today without your support and participation. And for those of you who are new to the project, thank you for being here as well. Welcome aboard. It really is going to take each and every one of us doing our part to fulfill this beautiful community vision that the community came up with on October 13th of last year. Many of you were in this room. It was a very intense evening, but we came up with this wonderful community vision, and we'll look at that a little bit later. Again, the idea was to have this, I call it the circle of love, but it was to have this wonderful, beautiful circle and for all of us to be able to fit in it. Well, we're making history tonight in a way because this building, Bukla, will be closed. This is the high school that I graduated from. So I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader and all those good things, but this will be our last function in this building, and so I envision that the new building will have a space big enough without these posts so that we will probably, in fact, be able to have our circle of love or our discussion circle that will encompass all of us. But again, I want to encourage those of you who don't have a seat in the circle to get as close as you possibly can. There's power in the circle, there's unity in the circle, and we want everybody to know, whether you have a seat directly in the circle or not, that your contributions are very much valued, and we want you to make sure that you offer whatever insights and contributions that you have. We will have microphones going around so that we can make sure that everybody will be heard. I wish we had time to just get everybody's name. There's so many people that we've been seeing each other over many years, and we all just love each other. And but since we won't, because we are running behind, we just, as I said, things just don't always go according to the timing that you planned. And so we are starting our program about 20 minutes late, and we have a lot to get in. And so rather than introducing ourselves to each other, once we get your contributions in a process we call judging our progress, or if you have a question or whatever, you can introduce yourself prior to making your contribution. Real quickly, just wanted to say that this evening is really about our coming together as a family and as a community to, one, celebrate our successes. We have this beautiful cake over there, so make sure you get some cake. And thanks to Tanya Lundy and her team for providing this wonderful, scrumptious food. So it's about celebrating our successes. It's also about reflecting on where we've come from and what we've done so far since the project kicked off. And then also, it's about where we're going from here. And us honestly talking to each other so that we can figure out how to better ourselves and the project. So we're going to be doing that as well. And then it's also about renewing our determination to make sure that Project Ujima is not just a flash in the pan, so that it's here today and gone tomorrow. Now, we do have a grant, but we don't want it to be dependent on the grant. We want it to be dependent upon us as a community, so that we use the discussion circles and the deliberative dialogue process and democratic principles to become our way of doing business in our community. We have so many issues that are facing our community these days, and so many of us have such wonderful ideas. People call me all the time. I know, Russ, they probably call you, just with wonderful, wonderful ideas. And people are doing good work, but the work seems to be piecemeal and fragmented, and we have yet to really realize the gains and the impact that we know we should realize in our community, so that our children and our children's children won't be trying to solve the same issues that we're trying to solve. So this is our leg of the relay race, and so we're going to run it as hard as we can so that when we pass off the baton, it will be a better place for our children. So we need a process to do that, and we're hoping that Project Ujima will be that, where we can come together, look at an issue, deliberate over ideas, and together find common ground on how to go forward, and then how to hold each other accountable for doing what we said we were going to do. And so we're going to be looking at how we go forward doing that tonight. So again, thank you all so much for coming. Now, we talk about the discussion circle, and we talk about the fact that everybody has a seat at the table. All the way from our superintendent to our elected officials to the youngest of us, and we have some students around the circle. We're all on an equal footing in that everybody has gifts and responsibilities to make our village strong. And so nobody has more responsibility than another person. We all need to roll up our sleeves and do our part to make sure that our village is in fact strong. So again, thank you all for coming. And at this time, I'd like to have our superintendent, David James, say a few welcoming remarks. But before he does, I just want to say that Susan and I just feel that we could not have a better champion and supporter in a superintendent than we have in David James. He has been with us and beside us and behind us and all of that from day one. And so David, we thank you so very much. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, David James.
You know, when I think it was Susan Crystal and Carla Sibley were sitting in our boardroom, that was more than a year ago, thinking about, you know, this whole process and then trying to get the grant from the Knight Foundation. And I never in my most wildest dreams thought that we would have, you know, well, this has come like full circle for me. That, you know, this many people around, so I'm just here to listen and hear some of the discussions that are going to take place tonight, but I don't think, you know, you two don't give yourselves enough credit after they threatened me, bullied me, and everything else. But I think you've done a wonderful job, and it has always been, you know, important for, you know, when we're building these new buildings and replacing the old ones, is to get a different, you know, a new tradition of people really working together. And I think that's important, particularly for the success of this community, because we do have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems just trying to deal with the daily finances of the schools with a lot of you taxpayers who are paying the bill, and I do realize that. But we have a lot of work to do, and it was really my sincere wish that this process will keep going long after that grant runs out, because we're the ones who have to keep it sustainable. We can't rely on any foundation to do the work that the people who live in this community should be doing. So I just want to say thank all of you for all the work that you've done and your participation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Superintendent James. Again, you are just a champion supporter of ours, and we thank you so much for that. At this time, I want to invite Russ Neal. Okay, he's right behind us. Councilman Russ Neal to say a few words and make a special presentation.
Thank you. I want to just say thank you to everyone that's here. I want to say thank you to Crystal and Sister Susan, and thanks to Superintendent James for allowing the community to engage in this process. What we have here, the 1st of March, we have the Our City, Our Award, which is the way for the community to be engaged in government, to learn about the public servants that serve, and to hear what they're doing to improve our community, and then to receive from the community what we need to do to help make the community better. I like to look at the challenges that we have, not as problems, but just as that, as challenges. And one of the persons that I'd like for us to acknowledge today is a gentleman that's been working in our community for a long time and has always served and helped other people. And he's an elder in our community. So at this time, we presented this award at the Our City, Our Award event, but we'd like to present it again. And it reads, the Award for West Akron Community extends its sincere appreciation to Mr. James Tolles for his many years of service to the community. Now, this was presented March 3rd, 2012. It has an indica symbol for he who wants to be king. And the inscription reads this, and I think it's fitting with the work that most of us are doing here tonight. The inscription reads, I gotta take my glasses off. For those of you who haven't passed over 40, you'll understand soon enough. It says, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. And that quote is from Nelson Henderson. So we'd like to give this to Mr. Tolles at this time.